Welcome to the Back Nine Six Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 51 of the Back Nine Six Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. We survived Eclipse Day.
Yeah, it was, I'll tell you, I've never seen a 100% eclipse.
Yeah.
Our course was in the 100% zone. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not a big solar system guy, but it was a good day for the solar system. It was pretty magical.
Yeah, it was pretty freaking sweet. I'm not going to lie. My dad is super, super into all things, outer space. So him and my mom got Zach a telescope for his birthday that has a solar screen or solar lens on it. So we had that thing set up. We had the glasses. We weren't in the direct line like where you were today, but it was 99.9%. So yeah, super cool for those of us that are in this part of Ohio. Yeah, it was just wild, seeing you having to wear the glasses, right? And then we're kind of getting down to the edge of it. We were on 5 blue when the tee box when it all, and we're like, all right, look, we're seconds away. You could kind of see it winding down to 100%, and then it's you're in your glasses, it just goes black because that's how the glasses are. And you can take them off. And when you take them off and you see the 100%, it is the wildest thing. Again, unless we travel somewhere, we're never going to see one again, right.
More than likely. So it was kind of a big event. Yeah, and there was a ton of people out. Very happy. We were planning on going to Indianapolis. Very happy we did not do that. I've heard was just that was right in the center line, center path or whatever. But yeah, it was cool. We went out and played golf. I hit a tee shot during the 100%. Dude, it was dark.
Yeah.
I think I took a video and I was they say it all the time on TV. It's cameras make it look brighter than it is. That was truly the case because I hit my tee shot and it went 150 yards and was lost. No, I ended up finding it, but it's just it was gone, into the abyss. But it was wild. It was really wild.
Yeah, so cool. I guess an eclipse is the only thing that could actually eclipse me, just leading off with the fact that it is Masters Week.
Yeah.
So we survived Eclipse Day. We have survived 262 days since our last round of major championship golf.
God, it feels so good to be back.
It really does.
We got all the live guys coming in. We've got a full field, right?
Yeah.
We don't get that often. And it's Masters Week. And shout out to the Masters. Speaking of the Eclipse, they handed out Eclipse classes.
Yeah.
Masters team Eclipse classes, which is, look, par for the course, right? No pun intended, or I guess pun intended. They're just on top of everything and everything's perfect.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why I thought they wouldn't even think of that, but they did. So,
yeah. That was amazing. That was a nice post they put out, and they had the full stats of what percent of eclipse they were going to be in, and with the pictures handing out the glasses.
So cool.
Yeah, just that had to be a really cool experience for anybody who was out there playing, in practice rounds, any of the fans walking. So, yeah, we're just a crazy convergence of things happening.
It really
Extra
is.
pep in the step today. I brought in the summer shandies.
God.
It's
officially shandy season.
Yeah, you and I have not cracked one together yet, so this is the first time. I'm gonna fire one of these open here.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah. Shandy season might be the official start of spring. I think it starts the week of Masters. This is typically when I start drinking it. We had a beautiful day today, too, for the eclipse. It's 77 out. You couldn't have asked for, I don't think you could have asked for a better day for the start of Shandy season.
No. And this is also a throwback to, as we mentioned last week's show, our Lost podcast was supposed to be a Masters preview. So this is technically our second Masters preview, but the first to go live. And that night we were drinking shandy. Shandy was a big part of the evening for our first show.
Oh yeah, big part.
So was the metronome that got into the sound. So anyway, a little bit of a callback to that night. I had to bring in the shandies for the evening.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we're doing it right. While you are here, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back9Sixpack. We've got a ton on our agenda here. But before we get into all the pro golf stuff, I know you mentioned you played today. I played over the weekend on Sunday. with Gunth, and then Joe and Aaron joined us again, so I ran it back with
you
those
guys
guys.
did play on Sunday.
I wish I could forget that we played on Sunday. Actually,
Oh no.
as good as I felt after a very like unimpressive 85 last week, I shot 88 Sunday, and it was like
Oh baby.
nothing. There's like no redeemable quality from the round. Like it was just all bad, and it was
Man, that's tough.
we got hit with the frost delay.
I was wondering if you guys were, because it was definitely brisk on Sunday morning.
I mean, that part was actually kind of a benefit in terms of the weather because it would have been so cold
Super
going
cold,
off.
yeah.
Would have been Turkey Open conditions, truly. But the frost delay, you know, look, we didn't. The snack shop's not open. I can't have one of the elite beers in golf, the frost delay beer. Couldn't get that, so we ended up actually going over to Waffle House.
Oh God.
Which maybe was a foreshadowing of my day, honestly.
Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know. I played my best golf after getting Waffle House beforehand.
Look, first 2 holes, fairway green, 2-putt, comfy pars. Bogey the third.
That's your problem.
Exactly. I set the expectations too high with those first 2 holes, and then from there it was just like the wheels. I did make a birdie on 6 white, and I think I was 2 over to that point, and then it was just like
Wow, the wheels really came off.
absolutely blew off.
Oof.
I topped a drive on 1 blue at the turn. I was prepared to be full new 9, new me, immediate top drive. I had 4 3-putts, which did not include a couple putts from like off and around the greens. 38 total putts.
Wow.
You probably could put that number at 40 if you count those couple from like the fringe.
So not quite half your shots were putts, but they were pretty close.
It was just I don't know what happened. I honestly felt like I was blacking out on the greens, like in a bad way.
Which, you usually can lean on the putter. As
Yeah.
bad as things can get sometimes, you can usually lean on that.
Mm-mm.
That's tough. That's why that score was what it was, right?
Oh yeah, because I told Gunt that I was like, hey, you know what? Get rid of the 3 putts or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's an 84, and I'm like, man, I shot 84 and I played like shit, you know. So it is really the difference. you know, mentally. It was just Gunt shot 89, beat him by 1. We
A lot of shots.
we had a couple. We were workshopping some just different. We like to have some puns, some nicknames, things like that. We were workshopping a couple that I'm gonna. One was I'll give him a shout out now. This was all Gunth. We invented the electric slide, which there's a line in there where they say boogie woogie woogie, right? So the electric slide is bogey bogey bogey. And that was
the official bogey train.
yeah.
Oh,
So an electric slide is a bogey train.
no,
We've
that's
defined
awesome.
that.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
good.
So that was a good one. So yeah, we had fun out there. It was a good time, good company, and all that. But
Just
it was
not good golf.
There's something about the greens right now. I don't know how they look for you today. They got that almost like July kind of shiny
Yeah,
look
they
to
do.
them. And man,
Yeah.
I could not read a putt.
Yeah, they
Between
do.
the speed and the visual, I could not dial
Yeah,
it in.
they do. They're. We had some rain last week, obviously, but I feel like it's just like it was gone. Like when I played today, it felt like all the water was just gone already. And we got hammered with rain last week.
Balls were jumping
Yeah,
when we were hitting into the ground. Like it was not really soft at all. I mean, some low spots, you got a little bit of water,
a little
but like,
bit, but other than
it
that,
was not like it had just rained like it did. So
yeah, they got a little bit of a shine. Yeah, and look, it's pretty early, but that's a good sign. I love a firm golf course.
yeah.
Love me a firm golf course.
It sounds like we're aerating next week, so we'll see.
Yeah, and it looks like the weather shouldn't take that long to heal. So
I think we could be primed for a nice summer here.
yeah, I think by the beginning of May they're going to be courses. It's already in really good shape. Although I did hit into a divot today, and it pissed me not filled, not replaced. Look, other than that, the golf course is in phenomenal shape. Let's just leave it at that. Or I'm going to get angry again. But
Yeah. How'd you play?
I played pretty good. I think I shot even. I had the kids out there. That was taking some of my focus off of things, which actually I haven't been hitting the ball overly great recently, but like just having to get up there and just hit kind of freed me up a little bit. So like I hit the ball good. Didn't really take any time over putts. I did chip in again. I've chipped in like three of the last 5 rounds I've played this year. I'm on a stretch where I'm like really, really chipping the ball well. Doesn't make any sense, but I did chip in today. Kids got amped for that. They just they blew their minds, me chipping it in off the green. But I played pretty good. We had a great time. My middle one is really taking the golf. She makes pretty good contact with the ball. Some things we got to work on, but the youngest one was out there. We were just trying to keep her on the course.
Yeah.
But my wife played her first round of golf today for I don't know. I don't think she's played since we were in college. So
Wow.
She got out there and hit some today. Some high numbers. Lost a lot of balls. Unfortunately, we played a side with a lot of water. Did not fare well, but I played pretty good. I feel good. I need to get some consistency on when I'm going to play because
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting into that weather where it's like it's going to be a me problem if I don't play rather than a weather problem. So hopefully that's sooner rather than later where it becomes a consistent, playing every week and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to have to find a little bit of time just to like go to the range and actually dial in these numbers because it's like a roulette game of what club I need to be hitting right now between the wind that we've been dealing with and then new
and
clubs.
I think that's part of it too. Like the wind.
Sunday was definitely a wind issue. That was worse than last week.
Like I'll tell you, today was like the least windy day I've played out there probably since last September. Like
Yeah.
and it was still like for a summer day, you'd be like, it's pretty windy out here for a summer day. But for a spring day, it was like, damn, there really isn't that much wind out there. And it was still blowing like 8 to 10.
Yeah.
But your expectations are when you play in the spring, it's like it's going to be 15-mile-an-hour winds. And that's pretty much what we've had. Any nice day we've had, it's been what it is.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Who knows when the next round will be for me. We've got a couple weeks till Gun's bachelor party. So I got to squeeze something, at least some practice in between now and then. I don't want to go out there in Chicago and shoot a million.
Oh, I've got to squeeze some practice in. I've got a tournament the week after we get back.
Ooh. Okay.
Like it's like I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Well, you got to make a cut to play Friday, but it's Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Well, we'll tune you up in Chicago. Then you're hitting cups.
Yeah.
No gimmies. No
Finishing
gimmies.
everything out.
Oh man. All right, PGA Tour. Before we get to the Masters, Valera was a super fun tournament this weekend. I don't know how much you got to see.
I didn't get to see any of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Sunday we had the women's national championship on. My kids have become enthralled with Caitlin Clark, so we watched that, and then just straight into cooking dinner. And I saw what happened, but I didn't get to watch any of it.
Yeah. So I watched a lot on Thursday because I had our guy, Justin Lauer, first round leader, and then Akshay just absolutely buried me on repeat. So I was watching intently, and the way he hit it on Thursday was, my God, there was no stopping that guy.
When I saw Justin was in the lead, I was like, I don't think anybody's going to touch that. And then he just blew by it.
Yeah. He was on another
63, level. Right? Thursday, 63. He was 9
right.
under, right?
Yeah.
That's just insane. I mean, I saw a stat from this weekend that Denny McCarthy and Akshay, they gained over 20 strokes against the field total between the two of them.
Yeah, it sounds right. There's a big gap.
I mean, there's a gigantic gap. I don't know where were they to make the playoff, 12 or 13?
No, I think they got it to 20.
Or no, that's right. They did get it to 20. And then I think the next person was 15.
Yeah, maybe.
Third place was 15. Right. Yeah. That's a pretty big gap from first to third.
That was a massive gap.
So,
but yeah, I mean, Akshay wins. We did our juice index rankings, a couple weeks back. I had Akshay as an honorable mention.
He's working his way.
I think he might be working his way up.
He is.
For me.
He really is.
Everything about him fascinates me. He's
dude dislocated his shoulder from a fist pump That's juice. Like that's the definition of juice.
It could be a little bit of like Martin Gramatica vibes though, or whatever. Tearing his ACL on celebrating the field goal. Yeah, that was. I mean, that whole situation was wild. I had a note just like how wild some of the stuff that happened during this, like that happening where he pops his shoulder out of place. He's got to get the trainer during the playoffs.
Yeah, his wife's like trying to hug him, kiss him. Like after 72 holes, he's like, he's got to go get a trainer. I saw all those videos.
Well, now he's going to the Masters with like a possible, who knows what that's going to look like for him. What else happened? So Denny catches hot fire,
dude.
Just back 928. We'll talk more about Denny in a second.
Like that is. Sorry to put it this way. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he birdied his last 7 holes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just incredible. But he's that guy, though. Like, if he's making putts, like, he's not the world's best ball. If he just gives himself chances, he's such a good putter, and things start to fall. Like, he can do that very easy. It's just sometimes his ball striking pulls him down. But if he gives himself chances, I mean... That's what's going to happen, especially if he's putting well. And he typically putts the ball pretty freaking good.
Yeah. I'm sure he's probably like top 5 at least on tour and putting stats right
easily,
now. If not more, he's probably more than that after this week.
I think he was like 2nd or 3rd at the end of last year or something like that.
Yeah. I don't. Were you watching Friday at all? Did you catch the Smiley Happy Hour?
No.
Okay, so Akshay and Rory joined him, which was really cool.
I saw a little bit. I saw the putter break.
Yes. So Jimmy Walker breaks his putter in the middle of this. Like, Rory's been on for 5 minutes maybe. And he had the nice little quip about, like, he didn't know Jimmy was that strong or whatever.
Yeah.
The funniest part of it all was, like, Jimmy breaks it, and they're just kind of like, oh, or whatever. And you could see Jimmy turn around.
Like,
you could tell
shit.
he instantly regretted it. Like, he was like, oh, fuck. He's like, why did I do that?
This, yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. And then Ludwig, too, he, like, his driver head flew off as he was like driving a green.
Yeah.
Like, there's all kinds of weird stuff that happened.
Yeah, the Jimmy thing was funny because like everybody was just like, that's like the most athletic thing Jimmy Walker's ever done in his entire life. Like, because he's such a, and this is not saying this in like a derogatory way. He's very like dumpy, right? Like he's just like like he's not like, there's like no athletic. He doesn't look athletic at all. He's just very skinny, like typical, what I would consider like a typical like 90s golfer.
Yes.
They all just kind of were like, I'm going to drink a bunch of beer, not work out. And if you're skinny, you're skinny. Like if you have good genes, you're going to be skinny. If you're not, you're going to be like a John Daly. Like he's just one of those guys that like just doesn't put a lot of work in the gym, and he just is what he is. Kind of thing.
It's crazy he's a major champion because he literally looks like the face of a losing 2006 Ryder Cup team. It's like what he is.
Like there's always that guy that looks just like him on that team. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that was a crazy weekend at the Valero. Course seemed cool. I mean, I enjoyed the tournament.
I don't know much about the course.
Me either, honestly, other than that, like Charlie Hoffman always dominated. That's the only thing I knew going into it. But it looked like it played awesome. They had some wind a couple of days there. So it was really shocking, like how low the score got just based on
outside of 2 guys, it's like everybody else was in a good range, I feel like.
Yeah. Okay. Back in the 6-pack award. Taking this a different direction this week.
Yeah, I think we almost have to be honest.
I think Denny got the back 9 6-pack.
Yeah, I think he did too.
Like that's the only way. I think he shot 1 under on the front, maybe 2. And then, like you said, birdie, 7 of 9 holes to shoot a 28.
Yep. And then you definitely...
this is the key.
You definitely think he did because of his shot in the playoff.
Correct.
He crossed the line, probably.
Yep.
In the emergency 9, you go back out and you're like, oh shit, like I had 6 on the back and then I just had 4 on the patio and now I'm, now I'm out here playing golf again. And we're seeing some things.
Yeah, so for anybody that missed it, the whole time Akshay's trying to get treatment for his shoulder or whatever, and Denny he lays up into the par 5 and ends up just absolutely laying the sod over on a wedge, dumps it right into the creek in front of the green, and ends up losing. I think Akshay birdied anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I guess it would have mattered if he didn't have that penalty shot. But yeah. So look, We applaud Denny McCarthy on this podcast now. He clearly has finally been the first to take the advice of getting the back 9 6-pack.
Yeah.
Had nothing to lose. Got the turn beers and got it done.
It's just like seeing that scorecard was just mind-boggling. Like,
yeah,
it was just, it's kind of one of those things. I saw him through like 15. I was like, okay, like he's going to lock up second. And all of a sudden it's like, oh no, he's just going to birdie, 3 more in a row and get into a playoff. Like it was, and I felt so bad for Akshay because it's like, dude's trying to wrap up a win for nothing he's done wrong, right? Like he's done everything he could have right.
Yeah.
And then some dude just shoots 28 on the back to put him into a playoff. And it's like, dude, like you cannot let this slip through your fingers. Like,
no, I mean, that was a fantastic putt for Akshay to force the playoff after Denny had already made his.
Yeah.
And just to set the record straight here, Denny did not birdie either par 5 on the front. He had 1 birdie for 35. Got the back 9 6-pack. He birdied 8 of 9 holes. Yeah, the only hole he did not birdie was 11.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was like birdie, par, and then 7 in a row. Yeah. Truly incredible.
So, yeah, wild finish to that tournament, which a great lead in. Akshay's playing the Masters now with the win. I think Denny was already in based on something else. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
So the field is set at 89 guys. But before we break this down, the segment that has been lost to time. Last year, when we were going to do this preview pod, we did a 6-pack power ranking of our top 6 most memorable, not necessarily our favorite, whatever, Masters moments from our lifetime, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of couched it within, we're not going to try to pick the top 6 Masters moments of all time. We haven't seen, however many of them.
Yeah.
So,
and I'll tell you this, like all mine are pretty much in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
Look, big Marco Mira guy. I love him, but just doesn't hit the meter for me, But mine are mostly I think they're all in the 2000s.
Mine are as well.
So, you want me to kick this bad boy off?
All right. Here's my first question. Do we go 6-1 and then honorable mentions, or are we going to do honorable mentions first? Let's save the honorable mentions, actually.
Yeah, let's save them. We'll do 6-1, and then we'll come back to the honorable mentions.
Yeah, you kick it off.
My number 6 is the 2011 Masters. Rory shoots a lackluster 37 on the front 9, but he still has the lead heading into 10. Then he proceeds to snap hook the ball over by the cabins, which I believe went out of bounds, actually. Doesn't seem actually feasible to hit it that far left on that hole because there's so many trees over there. But he did. Ended up triple bogeying that hole.
Yeah.
Of the start of the meltdown of that year. He ends up shooting 80.
Yep.
And never seemed to recover at the Masters after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Like he's had good finishes, but never where it's like, oh, Rory's got a legit chance at winning this.
I think the only year was the Patrick Reed year, and Reed just kept pulling the rabbit out of the hat.
But it never felt like it was like his to lose. That year it was like he makes the turn. It's like this guy is a stud. Like he's making the turn with the lead. He's going to figure out a way to get this to the finish line. He actually doubled 12 that too. So he tripled 10 and doubled 12.
Yeah. So I've got some notes on this because this is one of my honorable mentions. He had a 4-shot lead going into the day. Like you said, triple 10, bogey 11. He 4-putted 12 for a double.
Yeah.
And then bogeyed 15. So he went 37, 43, 80. He started the day, like I said, with a 4-shot lead. He ended up being 10 shots back of Charles Schwartzel, who won.
And this is why this made my list, just because it was.
I remember
he's never really figured it out since, at the Masters. Like I said, he's had good finishes, but it's Rory. Like a win is a win, and anything after that is really not, right? Like it's not a moral victory or anything like that. And ever since that happened, never been the same at the Masters.
Yeah, he's had plenty of good finishes, several top 5s even, but I think...
Nothing where you're like, he's going to win this. He's in the position to win this. It's always been like, he needs a couple things to go his way. Like, he's never been in the driver's seat since.
Well, there's a lot of sad Saturdays and then some backdoor Sunday stuff.
Yeah, like backdoor Sunday, 65, and it's like, oh, he went from 30th to fifth.
Right.
Like, not nowhere near the lead. Wasn't going to win, but he got a top 5. So,
all right. Yeah, definitely worthwhile mention there. Number 6 for me. 2019 gave us a lot. I'm not going where you think I'm going though.
No, but there's an honorable mention of mine that's from there.
Round 2. One, Zach Johnson is standing on the tee at hole 13.
Hey, stop beating the dead. The guy's dead.
It's fine. This is kind of the start of it all for me. He's on the tee at 13. He's playing with Matt Kuchar and Ian Poulter. And this was like a situation where like I was at work and I had like the second screen going, you know?
Yeah. And you didn't believe what you saw?
Yes.
Yeah.
He takes a practice swing and accidentally hits his golf ball, ricochets off like the tee marker, and he's just kind of like, oh shit. And like everyone kind of like, he doesn't know what to do. Kuchar's like, you didn't mean to do that. Like, you're good. Like,
yeah, you re-tee. Yeah.
So, but like, it was kind of the first time that I can at least remember where this happened. And he has gone on to do this several times where he's taking a practice swing and accidentally hitting his golf ball.
And that was the first one, that right? Like
the first memorable, the one that I can remember. Yeah.
There's a handful of them out there. He had one at TPC on 18 too.
Yeah.
But I think it was after the Masters one.
Yes. And I think he also did it in the match play tournament one time too. Anyway, so that like, it was just like the first time I'd ever seen a professional
like
golfer do something like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And it just, I will never forget that moment because like I like saw it happen. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Look, I didn't even, I remember that happening that year, but I guess it would probably be honorable mention for me. But yeah, no, it's so shocking because like you said, we don't see that. And honestly, a lot of times, just the TV coverage for most of these tournaments, like you're not going to see that, right?
No.
You're not going to see a random tee shot on 13 where you see a guy do that.
It was like because I was watching the Amen Corner feed, whatever.
Yeah.
Which, a couple notes here. One, the Masters has like, from like my early days of watching it to what you can see now is unbelievable. Like their coverage of the tournament and all the feeds and the app and everything.
Stupid.
It truly makes you like excited to watch golf. Like I think this is the first time every single year where I'm like beyond thrilled to watch golf.
Remember when everybody's minds were blown when they did the whole like you can follow your player you wanted to follow?
Yeah.
And like they hit a shot and you could go back and watch their shot.
Yeah, you can see everybody's shot like for the entire tournament.
Just innovative.
IBM's getting it done. Watson's out there just like, pulling strings.
Watson's the real MVP in all this.
The second thing I mentioned, this is a second time we're doing this power ranking. Did anything for you change?
One of them did change, and then I did flip-flop one.
I flip-flop one as well. So I was just curious of that as we get into
mostly the one changed, and then they kind of flip-flopped orders.
I kept this. I have the same 6, but I did have a flip.
Okay.
Number 5.
This is the one that was the one I added.
Okay.
Again, because of the significance behind what's happened since, it has to be Spieth in 2016 on 12 on Sunday.
I have this higher on my list. Yeah.
Feels like it's never been the same since this has happened. Just a catastrophic meltdown on 12. And again, and the only reason I have it on the list, one, I vividly remember it happening, and you're just sitting there and you're like, I want to throw up for him.
Yeah.
I want to cry for him. But then you're watching a professional golfer and you're like, you just can't, your eyes can't leave the TV because you can't really believe what you're seeing is actually happening to, at the time, the best golfer in the world. It was just, there were so many feelings going through me at that point. And then, like I said, and then since then, it's not been the same, right?
Yeah.
It's like a mental block. Like what happened on that day has been, it's just a complete mental block for him. So that's why it landed. That was one that I think I told you I was toying around with like moving things up and down. Mm-hmm. I wanted to put it higher. It just, because of the ones in front of it, I just felt like I couldn't.
I have that at number 3 on my list.
Okay.
And I don't know why I didn't include the Rory meltdown. You had that 6th. But for whatever reason the Spieth one, maybe just because I was like a little bit older and like, at that point I'd actually been to the Masters twice. So like maybe a little more context. Spieth had just won the year before. I feel like Rory's meltdown might end up being more significant because he hasn't won it yet.
Yeah.
He potentially may not.
Yeah. Spieth has one,
Spieth
right?
has one, but it is this weird thing where it's like he's like truly like top 2 or 3 of active players like at Augusta in terms of, you know, his record and, you know, game for the place. But like he cannot seem to. You're right. Every time he gets up to the 12th hole, there's ghosts out there.
He sees things on that green. Like he sees things on that hole for sure.
So I think this is why it's worse. He had a 5-shot lead with 9 to go. Rory started the day with a 4-shot lead.
It was bad.
I mean, 9 to go, and he's got 5 shots. He goes bogeys on 10 and 11, and the quad on 12 after dumping 2 in the water. Willett bogey free 67 to win.
God,
I won a lot of money that day, so I got lucky. But like at the same time, my king also went down hard.
I would say now that we've kind of distanced from that Masters, the fact that Danny Willett has a Masters, look, I love Danny Willett. I think he's a great personality. The fact that he has a fucking green jacket just blows my mind.
It's shocking how like he's non-existent in the world of golf, basically.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm like, it's truly amazing that he's got a green jacket.
He was up to 12th in the world at the time when he won. Like, he came in and he was a good player.
He had a stretch there for like 2.5 years. It was like, dude, this guy's like a top 3 player. Maybe like if he keeps this going, he's going to be a top 3 player in the world.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he played on a Ryder Cup team.
He did. And he was at Hazeltine. Remember
that's right.
His brother
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was number 3 on my list, number 5 for you. So, my number 5, 2012, the playoff, Bubba Watson's hook from the trees into 10.
This made my list. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. When I was there in 2014-15, like we made a point to go kind of that spot and just see, and I don't understand how a human hit that shot.
A wedge too. Like it's one thing like, okay, like you know, high or lower lofted clubs, like you can hook harder, right? The fact that he hooked a wedge that far, like any club's amazing, but a wedge that hard, like to hook it that hard, and then to hit it to like, I don't know, what, 12 feet, 13 feet, maybe?
Yeah, anything,
just
even
anything
around the green
would have been truly amazing. And he hits it and like spins to the right, and it's like, holy crap.
Yeah,
like, what is happening right now?
That was the height of like, you know, the Bubba magic, right? Like just the shot shaping extravaganza out there.
He truly is, like, if you wanted to like rank artists, golfers, and artists meaning like there's no shot in his bag that he cannot hit when it's moving the ball. And he's probably in our lifetime number 1 as far as like not a straight ball, but if he needs to move it one way or the other, he was probably the best to do it that we've ever watched.
I mean, I would put Tiger above him probably.
Yeah, maybe Tiger than him. Yeah, right. But to be listed under, you know, that close to Tiger as a shot maker and moving the ball left to right, truly amazing. And that was number 3 on my list, by the way.
Yeah. So I mean, to do that in a playoff.
4. Sorry, 4.
Okay.
4.
Cool. So yeah, so we had a little bit of consensus on that one. Speaking of number 4, that was your number 4.
Yep.
My number 4. This might be higher on yours. 2010 final round. Phil from the Pine Straw on 13. Did you have it higher?
Yeah, I slightly higher, but it's on there.
Yeah, I actually rewatched this shot today. I don't necessarily know that it, like, okay, so in the moment I was like, holy shit, because he hits it to like 4 feet, right? Like, it's stuff.
It's stupid.
But like when you watch it again, you're kind of like, you know, maybe I'm just like numb to today's like technology and stuff. So like maybe it was more impressive then than it is now. But it looks more routine than it probably was.
Oh yeah, sense. I mean, I think he just made it look really easy.
Maybe that's what it was, really.
But that's 3 on my list, so it's the next one. But I remember
it's just so freaking memorable. That's the thing.
To me, if you're, you know, these top 3, like you remember like where you were at when you were watching it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in college. We were actually playing in a tournament up at Purgatory, and we just finished our tournament. We go into the clubhouse, and it was like the 3rd shot we got to watch. Like we go in, sit down, and our coach is like, dude, like he's in trouble. And it's like, and then you see him and you're like, oh shit, like they're talking about it on the bright, like he's going for it. Like he's not, this is not a layup. And then you're like, this is the tournament, right? It's either, unless he like sprays it one way or the other and gets lucky and he's chipping, like he's going for it all right now. And he hit it perfectly. And after that, it was kind of a coast job in after eagling that hole.
Well, he missed the putt.
Or sorry, yeah, he did miss the putt. That's right.
But he makes a comfy birdie.
But he makes a birdie, and then it was a kind of a coast because I think he had like a 1-shot lead going into that hole. Maybe
it might have been 1 or 2. Yeah,
but it was coast after that. If he's hitting that shot, like no one's catching him.
Yeah. So I guess when me being the idiot I am, when you actually factor in the moment of like, he's leading the Masters, he's in the pine straw. This is either in the creek or amazing, probably.
Yeah.
Then
like knowing like Winged Foot, like what he did at Winged Foot, like he's going for it. It's just like what Phil was, right? It was never a gray area. It was like he's going for everything in that shot. And then that's why I think it made it pretty amazing.
Right. All right.
That was my 3.
Yeah, and my number 3, as we mentioned, was the Spieth meltdown. So we are on to the top 2 here. I assume we have the same 2. Again, did you...
Super hard to put these... I think if I was in a different point in my life, I think I would have had 1 as 2 and 2 as 1.
Yeah.
But my 2 was the 2005 chip behind 16.
So this is where I flip-flopped. I had that previously number 1, and the farther away I've gotten and thought more about 2019, I flip-flopped these 2. So 2005 is the chip-in's also my number 2.
Yeah, again, I mean, it became a fucking commercial. That's all you really need to know, right? It became a commercial.
Yeah.
It almost seems, nowadays you'd got on Twitter and people are like, this is staged. This is fixed. The fix is in. There's no way. Nike somehow fixed this.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It would be so unbearable.
But it was so perfect. So perfect.
Everything about it.
Other than the high five.
Other than the high five. But that almost makes it great too, because it was like,
it adds to the lure, like, like the history behind it. It's like, well, he hit this perfect chip, but he couldn't hit a hand 6 inches away from him.
This is another one that I rewatched the clip today. And so Vern's call, and you got Lanny Watkins kind of talking through it all.
Dude, legendary call, by the way.
Yeah, the in your life, have you seen anything like that or whatever? Tiger just like peak Tiger. Like, I think this honestly, like Tiger lore was already established. He won in '97. He did the Tiger Slam, all that. But like this was like, I think that chip-in was kind of the height of it. And
because like the chip itself, if he even had like a perfect lie, is still unbelievably good.
Yeah.
The dude was against the freaking collar.
I know. You could see his rehearsal is just like a massive like chop down on it. And it just lands so buttery soft exactly where he wanted it. It was just crazy to watch it back, and like him just like stalking out the, he's studying every single blade of grass on that green. He's like so in the zone. You can see him like he's like mouthing, like talking to himself, like as he's like over the shot, and then just steps up and makes the, what would be the shot of the life for a lot of people.
I mean, like even if they were out there just playing an open round of golf at Augusta, you would never forget that. And he does it in the Masters, right?
Yeah.
And in Tiger terms, like, you almost want to say he like out-legended his legend, right? With that shot. It's truly just improbable is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like
even for him, it's improbable.
For us, we're like playing high school golf at this time or whatever. And so this is like probably the peak of us. Like in Tiger Mania, and like at that moment when that chip goes in, I remember just feeling like no one's ever going to beat him ever.
Yeah, it's like kind of felt it's kind of what like if this guy can hit this shot in this situation on the collar, chipping it in, pretty much icing the Masters. Is anybody ever going to touch him?
Which is funny because he went on to bogey 17 and 18, and then he had to win in a playoff.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, that moment it's etched in my brain. And to this day, it gives me chills watching it back. Like,
yeah. Which, by the way, shows he's human. To recover from that, like, just the celebration and, the hoopla of everything that just happened. he goes on the bogey, but then again, like I said, he wins in a playoff. But I thought when that happened, I was like, he iced it, right? Like, this is over.
Right.
And I would have thought he iced it anyway. But
I mean, how many guys over the years were like Chris DeMarco in that moment where it's just like, I mean, there's probably like, he's got 82 wins and 15 majors. So there's probably 40 to 50 guys out there that had something like that happen to them at the hands of Tiger Woods.
and it always reminds me of the documentary when they did it on him, and they're telling the story about 2019. They're like, everybody says they want to face Tiger on a Sunday in a major.
It's Armageddon, yeah.
He goes, the fuck you do?
Oh.
Like, and all these older guys, the Chris DeMarcos of the world, they'll tell you, no, you don't.
Right.
Like, no, you do not, because that shit happens.
Oh.
It's truly just like, you don't want to face that guy.
Well, that's a good segue then, because I think we have the same number one.
Yeah.
This is like all the memes and stuff you see, and it's like where the women are like, there's tweets and Instagram reels, whatever, where it's like, what do men want or whatever, and the answer is they want Tiger Woods to win another major. We all got that moment in 2019, and from it actually happening and just like being a Tiger and a sports fan, honestly, from that to the scene behind the green with Charlie and Sam. And,
I narrowed it down to the point, like Tiger hugging Charlie behind the green.
Yeah.
Like, I started getting emotional when he taps it in and he wins, and I completely lost all control of my emotions when I saw him hug Charlie behind the green.
Yep.
That's when it was just like tears. And I'm not afraid to admit that. Like, I was crying.
So when I thought more about, like, because I had, like I said, I had the 05 chip higher, but thinking back on it, I was like, this is the only moment in sports that ever made me cry that I can remember. Yeah. That I wasn't involved in.
Yep.
Like, I've never cried about a professional sporting event ever, but like that brought tears to my eyes. We were at, this is to your point about remembering where you were and all that. Like, we were at Nick's house for the Masters party. My oldest had just turned 1 like a month before that. So like just purely in my like early dad era.
That's what I was saying. Like, I had kids at that point. It just hit every string of emotion in my body.
Yeah. And I can't wait. So I saw CBS put out like a little promo for, they're doing like a short documentary on that Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, with, guys like Francesco Molinari and Tony Finau, guys that played with them, people that called the event. I made a note. So Ian Poulter, Brooks Koepka, Tony Finau, and Francesco Molinari all found the water on 12.
Yeah.
Playing in that final round with Tiger Woods. And Tiger was playing with Molinari and Finau that day.
Because if you remember, they played threesomes.
Yep.
And they went off early.
Yep, because the weather was coming in.
Yep.
Molinari went in the water again on 15. Loved it so much, he went back. So yeah, it just was like, it just reminded you of those, like I said, those peak Tiger days where it was like, that leaderboard gravity of like having that Woods name up there.
And executing, knowing who is there.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
one of my honorable mentions is from 2019. The moment that I knew he was going to win, and it wasn't even that big of it was kind of a big moment, but I guess we can segue into our honorable mentions.
Yeah,
now.
Let's do it.
So, like, my first honorable mention was Koepka missing the birdie putt on 15 on Sunday. I believe it was the tie for the lead. He'd already been struggling all day putting the ball, but when he missed that putt, I'm like, okay, this is the guy that we deem the best major player since Tiger Woods. He has now just missed a very makeable putt to tie the lead, and he doesn't do that. Like, this is not a Sunday. So I knew at that point, I'm like, if this is the guy that he's not going to do it, then no one's going to do it. Like, no one's catching him. Like, he's going to end up winning this.
Yeah. I think I'm remembering this correctly. On 9, I want to say Tiger didn't hit like a great shot in there or something, and he had a really difficult putt, and he hit like the most incredible lag putt, comfy par.
Yeah, I did remember that too.
I just knew it. I was like, man, he is so fucking dialed right now. Like I think we have a good back 9 coming up in it, everything just broke the right
Yeah,
way.
so I kind of lumped these together. So my honorable mentions was that putt that Koepka missed on 15, and then Francesco Molinari just ejecting into the sun, hitting it into the water on 15. It was like,
yeah.
okay, like these guys are just kind of falling apart around them. If it's not going to happen now, it's never going to happen. Yeah, but just all those things happening within 15 minutes of each other was like, oh shit, this is real. Like he's going to win. Like he's going to fucking win. And then he hits the tee shot, I don't want to get to it because I don't want to take any of your honorable mentions. But,
no, I don't have anything else from 2019.
But 16,
so we can...
his tee shot on 16 was like all that happening, and then he hits that tee shot on 16. You're like, oh, this is fucking over.
Yeah.
Like this is so over. Guys are falling apart, and then he stuffs one.
God,
and it's
dude.
like this is over.
Yeah, it really makes you. The car accident is just.
It just proves it is truly. It doesn't matter what you do. I mean, other than a couple things, but if it's something that's forgivable, everybody likes a good comeback story.
Yeah, I think he would still have, had he not had the car accident, like he probably still had a couple more really good runs, at least at Augusta.
Yeah, at Augusta, maybe an open. Yeah, just because they're flatter.
Yeah. God, dude, 2019 was just so
electric.
so electric.
Those are kind of 2 or 3 of my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I got a couple. 2021, Hideki wins and the bow from his caddy.
Pretty phenomenal moment.
So cool. We'd be remiss to not mention 1997. I think still a little early in our. Like,
yeah, I remember him just completely dominating everybody.
Yeah, and I remember that specifically, kind of like being the kickoff to like. Oh, like golf is sick. Like
this is fucking fun.
Yeah.
This is fun.
So like, because I think we were 8 or 9 at the time, something like that. So yeah, that was kind of a nice impetus for kids our age. 2004, that's Phil's first win.
Yeah, the jump.
Yep.
Yeah, that was one of my honorable mentions. That I
saw
had
some
on the
pictures
list
of it. Some pictures of it today, and he actually got up there pretty good. Honestly,
he did. And anything that becomes a logo after that is truly legendary.
Yeah, he makes it his own logo. I mean, pretty legit. And then, so this one is a little bit of a sneaky, underrated one, in my opinion. In 2013, Tiger hits the pin on 15 and makes a bogey.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
It spins back into the water. It would have been, like, stuffed. But he hits the pin, goes back in the water, takes a little bit of a cavalier drop, potentially, ends up getting a 2-stroke penalty. There were people who wanted him DQ'd. Like, it was a whole thing.
First off, I hate the TV.
I know.
I hate the TV rules officials. Like the couch rules officials, the ones that call in.
Right.
Like, who the fuck calls Augusta and is like, DQ him or I'm not watching the rest of the tournament. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Right. I know. So anyway, that happens. He, like I said, he gets a 2-shot penalty. He ends up losing by 4. I mean,
if he's within a shot, you just don't know what's going to happen.
That, right? Or I think it would have been pretty much an auto birdie if it doesn't hit the pin, because it would have been within a few feet.
I mean, it was going to be close.
So yeah, from going, taking in an 8 from a 4. I mean, that's tied for the lead at least. I mean, so I don't know. That just sticks out. There was a lot of like near weird misses in that area when he won in 2008 at Torrey to, finally breaking the seal again in 2019. That was definitely one of them. So
I'm gonna say recency bias on this next honorable mention for me, only because it wasn't that long ago, and I just saw the replay of it. The Ernie Els like 8-putt on 1.
Dude, I just saw that too. Maybe that's why I had so many putts the other day.
I remember that was kind of like the tee shot thing for you, right? Where he hit, he accidentally hits the ball. It was kind of one of those things. Like, I was watching the broadcast, and you're just like watching it happen. You're like, this is not real.
No.
And he just kept hitting it back and forth. And then he like looks at his caddy. What is if I was your caddy, I'd have flipped him off, dude. Like, I'm not the one hitting the putts.
Right.
He just kept running it by. And I'm like, it was kind of one of those things you just didn't know what you were watching when it was happening. Truly magical moment for Ernie Els on 1. I believe it officially was an 8-putt. I think it was.
Yeah, it was 7 or 8. I can't exactly remember.
But that was one of those, you're just speechless. You're like, what is happening right now? And first off, you're like, slow play. Get the hell off. Like, pick it up, move on to the next hole at that point or something.
It's net double bogey. Move on, Ernie.
Yeah. You can't post higher than that anyway.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Yeah, we just wanted to take that, like I said, that brief trip down memory lane. That honestly, this is probably my favorite thing about Augusta is that fact where the same course every year, you know the shots, you know the holes, you know where you can't miss, you know the history of like every player that is there routinely, like it. And it's, like I said, it's 262 days since the last time we had a major tournament round. It's spring, first major, back at Augusta. All of it is just like it's the best week of the year. I can't wait.
Yeah, which it's funny. Like we all know the course so well, just from watching and maybe some video games because it's been on video games since over the last 3-4 years. And it's always funny hearing Faldo. It's like, that's not where you want to miss. It's like, dude, everybody fucking knows you don't want to miss there. Everybody knows this course just as well you do, even if we haven't played it, or even if you haven't been there. Like, even if you played on a video game, you're like, yeah, that's fucked. Like,
right?
Faldo always pissed me off with that stuff because everybody knows the course, and that's what makes the Masters, right? Mm-hmm. You know every single hole, which there's probably not another. I probably know Muirfield like that, but every other course, like, you don't know every hole.
No, there's no other professional golf course Pebble's pretty close.
Pebble's probably pretty close for me too.
And just because I played it so many times in Tiger Woods, St. Andrews, the old course, I feel like I know pretty well as well.
But truly is in the one that they play every year for a major, right?
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so special. So,
no doubt. All right. Now on to the 2024 Masters. Jon Rahm is back to defend his title. Pretty fire Champions Dinner menu, to be honest. I don't know if you ever saw it.
I don't think. I think I have actually.
Yeah, a lot of like tapas, traditional Spanish fare.
Good, yeah. Good with the nationality food. Like you're never gonna miss on that.
No,
unless your name's Bubba Watson, you do chicken breast, which is just so fucking. It's so lame on so many levels that it's just truly astonishing how lame that is.
Yeah.
Like, we get you're from the South. Like, do some kind of fried chicken or something, right? Like, you're from the South. That makes a little more sense than, like, chicken breast. But his is good, yeah. He's doing some home country food. Like, it's always a good move.
I think it's his mom's famous, like, dessert recipe or whatever, too.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's good. I do wonder how he'll be received, this year, but...
it's so funny. I don't think the guys inside the clubhouse don't shun you. Maybe a couple guys will, but some of the older guys might. But I think for the most part, it'd probably be. He seems like a very likable guy. He's like a teddy bear.
Yeah, it seems fine. Just the move to live, kind of surprise. I don't know.
I truly believe that if he doesn't win the Masters last year, I don't think he goes to live.
No, probably not.
So.
Man.
But he's not playing particularly well right now. It's interesting. But Augusta's kind of one of those courses that if you've won there, you don't have to be playing particularly well to be able to kind of get back into form.
Yeah, this is so... Just looking... I kind of broke the odds board up into some tiers here, and this is why I'm struggling. Like, it kind of feels like nobody outside of Scotty is really playing great.
Yeah. No. I mean,
among like the
no
top...
one that you're like, okay, they've been consistently getting top tens or they've got a win in there.
Yeah.
No one other than him, really.
And I don't know if it's just because maybe not having, all these guys together all the time or whatever, and, the live guys kind of out of sight, out of mind. It just feels more like that because of that, or if it truly is like all of these like top players are kind of struggling in a way that's different than normal heading into the Masters. I don't know. I'm struggling with that as I look at the odds board and thinking about what I want to do and who I want to pick at the end of this. But, all right, so the favorites, I kind of broke down. It feels like there's a kind of a top four. Scotty plus 400, just far and away the favorite. Rory plus 1,000, Rahm plus 1,100, and Xander plus 1,600.
In that group, obviously, Scheffler. But if I'm looking for value in that group, if I could trust Xander to close out a tournament, he seems like the logical play in that group.
Yeah.
Just for the value, right? He's like, he's 16-1. If he plays well, he's gonna be up there. But I just don't trust him to close anything out.
I know.
Like, even if he had a 5-shot lead going into Sunday, I'd be like, oh, something's gonna go wrong, right? Someone's gonna make a run. He might not even be his doing, right? Like, someone might make a run on him. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, out of all of those, the ones you trust is Scotty. But it's also like, do I really want to place a outright winner bet for 4-1 odds?
No, that's the problem.
It's almost like one of those things, like if he gets off to a rough start, maybe like +2 through 9 or something like that, and you can get him at like +1,000 or +900, you may like pull the trigger on it. That would be the only way I bet on him in this tournament.
Yeah. I know. I think it would depend on how he gets to that couple over. I think if it's happening because of the putter.
Oh, you stay far away.
Yeah, because
But if he has like a one-off hole where he's like, he hits a couple bad shots and, makes a couple bogeys, it's okay. It's not the putter. We know he's going to hit the ball well. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think at the end of the day, I think I'm just going to avoid this top 4.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, like I said, I'm not betting Xander, but I'm like, if you're looking for someone that's a favorite, you know, or one of the favorites, like he would be the one that's like, okay, at 16-1, if he can just figure out the last 18 holes, he might be okay.
Yeah. It's just so Xander. I think I saw a stat where I think he's made a top 20 in like 7 straight majors, which is really impressive. But that just feels like I think you need to look at him like top 10, top 5 if you're going to bet on Xander.
Yeah. I think a top 5 bet wouldn't be egregious.
He's a guy that I almost want him like have him be like 3 back going into Sunday.
Yeah, and then like he'll shoot like a 68 and probably.
You can almost
T2 or something.
You can almost predict it. Where if he's like not out of it, but far enough back. Oh, Xander's going to shoot 64. Like he's going to have the round of the day.
Yeah, if he's 8 back or 9 back, and he's like, oh, he's going to shoot 65 today, and he's gonna be top 10 after this, maybe top 5 after this.
But then if you put him in the final group and he's got a shot lead or whatever, here comes the 73, right? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know I think it's one of those things where just learning to close, I think, really for him is,
Yeah, again, but I'm staying far away. As far as betting purposes, very far away from that first group. Yeah. Just because if I'm going to bet somebody, it's going to be Scotty, and I just don't. At 4-1 odds, I'd rather put my money on something else.
Yeah. So, also I should mention, I pulled these odds from DraftKings Sportsbook sometime around 1 o'clock today, so I'm sure they've probably changed, honestly.
Yeah, I was actually trying to pull that up. I was trying to pull that up to see if anything had changed.
Yeah.
I mean, we're Monday before. A lot of money starting to flow in, so these definitely could likely change.
Yeah. So next, kind of the next up tier, these are the guys still in the 20s. So Brooks sits at plus 2,000, Spieth also plus 2,000, Joaquin Niemann plus 2,500, as well as Hideki Matsuyama. These feel like kind of the guys that, Spieth, just based on his Masters form, he just, I think, top 10 at Valero, albeit in a very wild and crazy way. This group of guys feels like the guys that are, you got Brooks, the trusted major horse, Spieth, a horse for Augusta, and then Niemann and Hideki just had really good seasons so far.
Yeah. So they're playing really good.
They all 4 of them feel live to me. I don't want to get...
my sprinkle bets were Brooks. I sprinkled on Joaquin. I know you're on Hideki. Back to the Genesis.
I joined you on Brooks.
Yeah, it just felt like he did not play good this past weekend. It doesn't. For anybody else, you might be like, it might throw like the slightest hint of fear into your head. For him, no fear. Honestly, I prefer him to not play well the week before because I don't think he's ever played well in a non-major event close to a major. And you're like, oh, he's in form. He's usually, it's like coming in, it's like, he's not been playing great. And the next thing you know, he's going into Saturday with a lead. So,
yeah, like I said, I've got Brooks and Hideki in that group. I think I have been in on Spieth at the Masters every single year since he started playing the Masters. I don't know if I'm ready to get hurt again or not. It's too much pain.
To me, it would not be a Masters unless I have something riding on him. So I'm gonna put some on him. It's not gonna be some large bet or anything crazy like that. But I feel like I just got to be invested in our guy. So
first round leader.
Maybe. I mean, truly, maybe. It's not a terrible bet for him.
I would like it more if he's all going off in the morning, but yeah.
But I might even do an outright winner. You never know.
Maybe his odds will drift. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'd like him a little deeper. The next whole range from like 30 to 50 is just a bunch of question marks, I think.
That can go, they can go either way. Yeah.
I mean, this is the range where you've got like guys like Ludwig and Cantlay who have just been like MIA. Not
Ludwig's first major.
Sorry. Yeah, I meant to say Victor and Cantlay. Guys that just seem to be in the wilderness. Ludwig's first major, as you just mentioned. It's also the first Masters for Wyndham Clark. He's in this range. Feels like he has the game that suits this place, though.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but debutants don't win.
His game does travel, but the first timers don't typically do very well.
DJ, who knows? I mean, he's over 40 now. Seems like he could still have it in him.
But you never know, yeah.
Cam Smith, all over the place, but really good Masters track record.
Yep.
Bryson hasn't done anything here since he showed up and said the par was 67 for him.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but he's plus a lot since he said that quote, by the way.
JT and Bones just split, so caddy situation there, who knows?
By the way, quick timeout on that.
Yeah.
It truly, timing-wise, something where there's smoke, there's fire, kind of thing. Because typically what you would see happen is he'd probably stick through the Masters, right? To cut it off a week and a half before the Masters is odd timing, to say the least.
Yeah, I haven't even, just trying to like read the tea leaves from Twitter and
just to consider how many times has Bones walked Augusta?
That's
at
the
the very
part.
minimum, you're like, hey, let's just roll the dice, and maybe that's what you tell him, right? Like, hey, let's go through the Masters, we'll sit down afterwards, and he just cut it off a week and a half. Arguably one of the best caddies ever, probably the most experienced caddy for sure.
Yeah,
it's just odd timing.
It is weird, yeah. And I don't think Bones is on a bag at all this week either. So
no, I mean, if I was one of the leak-ins, and maybe that doesn't have a steady hand on the bag, but he's in the position where he can just say, I'm not caddying for, the third highest odds in the field. Like, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I'm not going to waste my Thursday and Friday. Or really the whole week on someone that doesn't really even have a chance to win.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, the only name that really sticks out to me here, if I'm being honest, and it's because I've also already bet him, is Sahith Theegala.
Yep.
1, he's my guy. 2, playing really well.
He was here last year. He played well last year, too.
Yeah, top 10.
Yep.
So you like that. Usually that bodes well, showing some form early at the Masters and then coming in with some form as well. So,
by the way, JT is one on this list that I believe the odds have changed on him.
Has he gone down?
He is at now plus 3,800.
Okay.
This is DraftKings though. So
okay.
So he's gone up a little bit. So
that's what I meant by gone down. Sorry.
Yeah.
Fallen down the board.
Yeah, but with a new caddy, not sure how I feel about that.
That one. I'll bet Jordan Spieth. I'm not doing JT this time.
I wouldn't mind. I have not bet anybody on this list, but I could see maybe sprinkling some on Wyndham. I know it's his first major, but he seemed to kind of be one of those guys that's broken a lot of, regularities with tournaments and winning. And so if anybody was going to do it, I could see him doing it.
Yeah. First Masters is what you meant, by the way. You said first major.
Oh, sorry. First Masters.
That's okay.
Sorry. I was
like
reading the names and I saw Ludwig and it.
I know. Yeah, just a weird range. And then after that, I just kind of, the 50 or the plus 5,000 beyond range. Like, I called out a couple names that just stood out to me. Cam Young's actually been sneaky playing well. Has played well at the Masters too. Scam Young, your boy. A lot of people are on Shane Lowry this week.
Yeah, not a terrible. I mean, he doesn't have to be in any form.
I think he feels like the classic, like he's going to top 20, but I don't think he's really.
Yeah, and he might even top 10, but I don't see him winning.
He's played well at the Masters previously too. So Max's numbers getting deeper, plus 5,500.
I know.
At
the beginning of the year, he was like 20-1 or 18-1. He was probably top 5, 6 in odds at the beginning of the year for the Masters.
I didn't look at his numbers from last week. I know he started off well, kind of didn't keep up for the weekend, but I don't know. I still kind of...
I don't hate it. Like, at 55-1, you sprinkle $4 or $5 on it. I mean, if you really need the $4 or $5, you really shouldn't be betting anyway.
Yeah.
But the sprinkling on him, someone that we know has the talent, right? He definitely has the talent. He's played here before. Not the worst bet in the world.
No. Good form at some of the crossover courses too. So
I like the Brian Harmon bet that we have on here. 65-1.
Yeah,
the guy putt. I mean, he putts well enough, and that's what you have to do well here, right? Like, there's other things you got to do well, but when it comes to tricky greens, things like that, I don't know if I would trust anybody. He'd probably be one of the 3 or 4 guys I would trust to putt well enough to win this just on that alone.
Yeah, if you're not going to be an elite ball striker, because it's traditionally a second shot golf course, but
it is.
His skill set is the one that
right?
can't. Right? He's honestly, it's kind of a little bit Spiethy. I mean, Spieth was at his heights. He was a really, really good approach player.
Yeah,
but I mean, you can get it done scrambling here if you're.
Yeah, but he's just, if he gives himself the chances, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right. Like I said, I bet that live during, I think, the Players when he was kind of heating up. Just for the number, I'm not in love with it. I don't like Brian Harmon that much to begin with.
Well documented.
But I caught a number. Who knows? He might show up.
Well documented.
Patrick Reed, I did not realize how good he's been at the Masters.
It's true. Yeah, I mean,
overall, he has a win, obviously, but
last year he played well.
I think he's got a streak of top 10s going on since that win, even, and just out of nowhere, because it's not like he's coming in with any form in these.
It's blood money, though.
Oh, I know, but he's there too.
I couldn't sleep at night knowing I won money if he won the Masters this year.
Yeah. I think this would just be funny. Jason Day plus 6,500. If he won the Masters in that Malbon stuff, that'd be so sick.
That would be. He's going to come with some serious drip this week too.
Yeah, he's got to.
Not drip that I would wear, but drip.
Yes. I also noted Tiger is plus, what is that, 13,000, so 130-1, and Phil's 200-1.
I don't hate a top 20 or top 10 bet for Phil. He really does just play this course, and it fits him perfectly.
Yeah.
You can spray it anywhere. You're going to have a chance to scramble a little bit. Last year, well noted, top 5. And he's, obviously not been through the car accident like Tiger. He seems like he's in relatively good health. I don't hate a top 20 or top 10 bet for Phil just because of the odds.
He's plus 400 for a top 20, so obviously the top 10 is going to be better. Tiger's plus 330. Like you said, I honestly at this point,
I just
worry
hope
about
he
him
makes
finishing
it through
the rounds.
The tournament.
I worry about that.
If he makes the cut, I hope he can make it through the weekend.
Right.
Because I can totally see him making it through, maybe skirting through the cut, and get halfway through Saturday and just be dead. Just not able to finish. Because it's hilly. I've never been there. I know a lot of people have. It's not an easy walk.
No, it's not an easy walk. And when's the last time he even actually finished a full tournament at this point? Did he make the cut last year at the Masters?
No, remember didn't he W?
Yeah, he withdrew, right?
Yeah, because they had that nasty weather and it was cold and rainy and it was just not good for his body.
So it's been over a year since he's actually finished a 4-round tournament. Reports on the ground.
Can we count the PNC?
Yeah, well, I forgot about that. He can ride a cart in that one, though. Reports on the ground, he looks good. Getting around okay. No serious notable limp, but I mean...
No sex?
Yeah, rumors.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't. One that had. Who is telling the New York Post
Truly,
this?
like top-notch reporting, by the way.
I don't know if I believe this. What a weird thing for somebody to like
just come out and say.
Tell the New York Post.
It's like, he's been in the gym, he's at the range, not having sex. Like, how does that conversation even go?
Yeah, I don't even know what person this is. Like, who? It's crazy.
It truly is. Like, how does that even slip out in the like? I'm going to drip you some information and then talk about how Tiger's putting in all this work, and then just drop that bomb in the backside of him being at the gym and he's in good health.
Yeah,
doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, not at all. All right, that's kind of the run through the odds. Like, I don't.
I'm trying to find his top 10 odds. I can't find them though.
Is there anybody we didn't talk about that you feel like is worth a mention here?
JT Poston was pretty far down in the odds. Like this was when I was looking at it earlier.
Yeah.
I'll have to find his odds because for someone that he's a pretty solid player. He's played here before. This is not his first Masters. Here it is. So he's 200 to 1. A top 20 is plus 900.
For JT Poston? God,
excuse me. That's a top 10.
Okay, I was going to say.
Plus 900. I mean, for a guy that's good, like he's a great player, and he's not had a terrible year. It seems he was kind of the name that popped out. I was kind of scrolling down to the bottom. You're looking at names like you see your Charles Schwartzels and, Jay's on the bag this week for Grayson Murray. It's his first Masters.
Yep.
He's not like a star, right? So you see him down there, and then I'm like, holy crap, there's JT Poston. Like, what the, like, why is he so far down there? Unless they know something I don't. But he was pretty far down there.
Yeah.
For a guy that's just a pretty solid player. I mean, it's not like he's going through an injury or anything. Not that I'm aware of. But he was pretty far down there.
Well, we got to get some backing behind our boy Jay here.
Yeah, there's nothing I would love to put a $5 bet on Grayson Murray.
He's 800 to 1.
Yeah.
Like 51 for top 5, 21 for top 10.
Even a couple bucks.
That's what I mean. Like, what? He's down here with, like, all the AMs and the old, like, past champions. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Put some respect on his name. He's a tour winner this year. Yeah.
Shout out to Jay, sending snaps. Got a snap today from the locker room. He's got his onesie. He's got his jumper on, ready to caddy the fuck out of this course.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for him. It truly is like it's one thing to like know someone that's been to the Masters. It's really another thing to just be like see someone go through the process of holy shit, like he's caddying his first Masters. It's truly, I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for Grayson too. Good for him. He's made a comeback and now he's in the Masters. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It's just like we talked about this before. We're coming up. Wednesday is our 1 year anniversary of doing this, and Jay was our first
interview.
Our first big guest. I can't remember if we interviewed him or Dan first, but
no, he was first. Yeah.
So Jay was our first interview. And a year later, he's caddying in the Masters.
Yeah, he went through some struggles last year, but a year later, there he is. Like,
it's mind-blowing.
I hope I like my whole thing. Like, I hope Grayson plays well. Would love for him to win, but realistically thinking, like, I just want him to make the cut.
Yeah,
like to be there on Sunday Masters, like just for Jay's sake of just having that memory and making those memories.
Absolutely,
that's all I want. So,
oh man, all right. Well, that was a nice little rundown. I feel good. I feel prepared to talk about what we're going to talk about next, which is one and done pick. Oh man, Ludwig let me down on Sunday. I thought we had Saturday. We had a little bit of a run. He
grinded for us.
He did. It was looking like, I think at one point on Friday I was texting you like, we're going to kill Ludwig now. Like, we've got another pelt on the wall.
He looked very dead on Friday.
Yeah.
Early on.
Snuck a couple birdies in late, got through the cut, and then had a really good Saturday and just kind of couldn't, honestly.
Yeah, I think he shot 2 over or something like that.
I think it was maybe 1 over yesterday. Let me pull this up because I had to take a screenshot of this.
Did we lose ground?
We did lose ground. but what I'm trying to find, here we go. Ludwig, T14 for us. We actually picked up like 15 spots in the standings, by the way.
Okay.
What I wanted to point out, Ludwig was first off the tee and 16th in approach, 69th in the field around the green, and 65th putting. I mean, he's striping it. Just got to get the ball in the hole a little better, a little sooner. Yeah, I feel good about that pick for us. It's tough. We didn't get a little bit higher of a finish, but we will take it. We are now up into 3,972nd place, so just snuck up a little bit. We're now at 1.4 million. We're still like a sweet 10.3 million back of the lead and about 5 million out of the money.
Oh, baby.
So we are in major season officially. I feel like I need to apologize to you again for the Scotty Scheffler at the Players because, man, looking back on this and just thinking about the strategy of one and done, factoring in like, oh, we only get the live guys at the 4 majors, probably should have just burned Scotty at the Players. Would have made a lot of sense. So I'm going to apologize again.
Look, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. I didn't even write a name down yet, to be honest with you, for this. Do you
There's
have...
one guy.
Okay, I think we're going to pick the same guy.
It's Scotty Scheffler.
Whoa, you're going to force me into Scotty now?
It has to be him.
I'm like the guy sitting on the college with the sign in front, like, it says like, change my mind or
Scotty
whatever.
Scheffler's going to win the Masters. Change my mind.
Yeah, I am. My sign says we need to use a live guy at the Masters. Change my mind.
I mean, I don't hate Brooks. I really don't. If we're going to go with anybody, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
If it's a live guy. Joaquin Niemann, I just don't trust that enough.
If I was going to do it, it would be Brooks. I'd consider Rahm, but I don't think we can go back to back.
No, let's roll with Brooks.
Do you want? We can keep talking about this. Do we want to wait for the PGA or the U.S. Open with Brooks? Because I'm cool to take Scotty.
I feel more comfortable with Brooks at the U.S. Open.
I think I do too.
Or the U.S. Open or the PGA. Probably the U.S. Open, being at Pinehurst this year. I feel like that's a better Brooks fit.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people have burned Scotty already.
They have. So that's the thing is probably going to get a lot of people taking Rahm.
A lot of Brooks too. Yeah. I mean, I don't look. If we're going to go live, it's going to be Brooks, but I do like him better at the U.S. Open probably than the Masters.
I'll go Scotty.
Okay, let's burn him.
Let's do it. God, we should have done it. Should have done it a couple weeks ago. I'm sorry, but
this is like you're playing Madden and you're just throwing Hail Marys down the field. I feel like that's what we're doing every week at this point.
Hot take: Scotty Scheffler is going to win the Masters. He's our pick for the one and done this week. If you have him left, you should take him too. How about that?
And you might want to place a miscut bet just in case.
Yeah, you get some nice juicy odds on that. Shit,
just in case.
That might pay more than his win. Who knows?
It very well might actually.
It won't, I don't think. But
a top 5 bet is like minus 105.
That feels like a good bet.
Top 20 was minus 120.
Yeah.
Or my top 10 was minus 120.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was.
Yeah, I it really did come down to 2 guys. I thought about that too. It's like live guys, only 4 tournaments, but I was like, it's only Brooks. I know Rahm won last year. He's not winning back to back.
I think it's
he's
only
just not.
Honestly, with the live guys, like if somebody, one of these 4, if Joaquin Niemann or Tyrrell Hatton or God knows who wants to step up and win a major this year, we're going to get burned by that. It really only comes down to Brooks and Rahm are probably the 2 we're going to use.
Yep.
With Cam Smith, okay.
Maybe. But that would be more like the Open. Maybe,
right.
Probably.
All right. So, Scotty Scheffler's locked in. You know what that means.
Time to go to the patio.
I can't believe the Masters chatter's already over. I feel like we're making good time right now.
We are. We really are.
For a Masters show? Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to save... Let me go first, because we're going to save your question for last, because yours is Masters related. Mine is golf, but not Masters related.
Okay.
Okay. Saw this on Twitter. Greg Chalmers used to be on tour, playing a lot of Champions Tour stuff now. He's actually Monday qualified for like 3 or 4 Champions Tour events this year. It's gone quite of a heater when it comes to Monday Q. But he asked this question. He said, it was a video of Rory, and he was like, if Rory is the Sistine Chapel as far as art goes, his swing is the Sistine Chapel, what is your swing as far as art goes?
Oh, fuck. I'm thinking it probably like a Picasso. Like
your swing is the Picasso?
No, like a Picasso painting, right? Like just like abstract and just kind of like herky jerky. Just there's shit everywhere.
So okay,
if you're talking art specifically, yeah,
it doesn't have to be like a specific painting.
Yeah, no, just I think the painting Guernica comes to mind. It's a Picasso. It's like a famous war painting. But yeah, I think some sort of just abstract. Just there's like it doesn't look great, but it's art.
We are right on the same wavelengths here.
Okay,
I didn't go with Picasso, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I said to him.
All right,
hold on. Let me pull up my reply here.
Oh, you replied to this?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god.
Okay, so he tweets this out, and I said,
"You're scrolling quite a bit here."
It's right here. Okay. So this is exactly what I said. He says that, and then I said some kind of Jackson Pollock,
sure,
that everybody thinks looks like shit, but only the real ones understand how good it is.
That's a great response. Yeah,
Jackson Pollock, same thing, kind of just
literally paint splatters. Yeah,
let's call it what it is. That goes for millions of dollars. Not saying my swing's worth $1 million, but I digress. Truly, I've got all the positions. Like, I'm at good position and impact. It's just, it looks a little goofy getting there, right? Like, it looks a little off. Doesn't look normal. But then it goes to auction, and you're like, oh, okay, not bad.
Then it goes to auction.
And only the real art people understand where I'm at certain points in my swing. It's like, well, he got there a different way, but
it's like
he hits all the points, right?
It's like you're standing at the art gallery and you're looking at something you really don't understand, and then your golf ball flying down the fairway is it's the equivalent to like the person that's working the exhibit standing next to me explaining what's happening in the painting, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I see it.
I can see that now.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's what that is for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I said. So it made me think about other players. And
like tour players or our friends?
Tour players.
Okay.
If we're going to get very specific about paintings, I think we can with tour players. I would say that, like, Jordan Spieth. Have you ever seen that painting? I don't know who it's by, but you ever seen the stairs that like look like they're going in different directions, but they're actually going in the same direction, or like they're going like you think it's going up, but it's actually going down.
Oh my god!
I cannot remember who that was, but that is the first picture that came to my mind. The guy that does those, I was like, that's Jordan Spieth. You never know if it's going up or down. You just know it's going somewhere.
Dude, that's so good. So apparently this is by, I think it's called Relativity, and it's by a Dutch artist named MC Escher.
Yes, Escher. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good description. I was watching him again this weekend, and just like, the pre-shot, like all the stuff, and I'm just like, he looks like me, like going out there, like after I watched like 30 Instagram reels trying to fix my golf swing right now.
Yeah.
I'm like I can't.
Said, it's like that, like you don't know if it's going up or down, but it's definitely going, it's going somewhere. It's just, you don't know which way it's going.
That's such a good one, really. I was trying to think of a few. You got
Mona Lisa, Patrick Cantlay. It's good. It's kind of boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay. It's like a chick just sitting there.
It's like a chick.
It's
a good one.
It's just, it's not a lot of color.
Man, that's so good. I'm trying to think of who's got like a real, like, super tempo, just like slow,
Max
drippy.
Homa.
Well, maybe more like a Couples or an Ernie Els. Like I'm thinking of like a Dali painting, you know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the persistence of memory. It's like the melting clock painting, you know,
Yeah,
like a
that.
surrealist.
Probably like a Ernie Els, maybe Fred
I
Couples.
think Els really was like truly the big easy.
He's the tempo.
Like,
he's literally tempo down.
yeah, he's
Like,
the mayor.
the mayor. Yeah, he's the mayor.
Yeah,
Yeah, those were the ones that I kind of came up like for tour players.
yeah, that's good. I think Tiger's swing always felt kind of violent to me.
Very violent.
He'd be like one of those like I don't even know what they were, but you know, like there's like those paintings where it's like I don't know, they're like mythical creatures or something, or like the Colossus, and he's like eat like the giant like eating the other thing's head, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like something super violent, or like a war painting, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's how I feel.
Yeah,
Tiger's
oh yeah,
swing
for
is.
sure. Yeah, his swing is violent. I mean, given his injuries, like it makes
Yeah.
sense that it was pretty violent.
Man, that was.
I
fun.
thought that was a cool question. Like
was
when
a
he
cool
said that,
question.
I was like, it made me think about my golf swing.
Yeah,
Big
that's
Jackson
great.
Pollock fan here.
Yeah, I think it's Picasso for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of lines being crossed, you know.
No rhyme or reason behind
No.
it.
Stuff's going everywhere. Yeah, that's what it is for me. All right, my patio beer question. I think a lot of people probably have seen this week. Look, the Masters is well known, and I can confirm the affordability of the menu. They really do a pretty good effort of, and especially in terms of modern sports, like making it an affordable experience for you while you're on the grounds there. Yes, you're going to drop a lot of money on merch. You're going to do that.
Yeah,
But concessions, super affordable, easily accessible. So, my question, a lot of posts going around. If you had $20 to spend looking at the Masters menu, what's the order going to be?
So I'm going to be super simple.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm buying 3 beers.
Yep, I think that's the minimum. You either are full sending on beer or you're going to get 3 and then figure out the rest.
I'm going to get 3 beers, and then we're going to see how it goes. I might buy a 4th beer
Yep.
and just hold off on the food until we're done. But in the spirit of not being that easy, I would probably get 2 egg salad sandwiches. That's $3, right? So I've got $2 left.
Yep.
Right. I'm probably going to get a pimento as well. If I'm drinking that much, I want to layer them out. We'll probably have like one at like 9:45, 10 o'clock. Probably another one at like 1:32, and then save the other one for like to get me to the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like this is my revival. My last $1.50 is probably going to go.
I don't think you have $1.50 left.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Do you?
Yeah. So I spent 15. I spent 3, and then I spent $1.50. So I had $5 left. I spent 3 on 2 egg salad sandwiches.
Yeah, and
1 on the pimento cheese, which
That's
is $1.50.
that's $4.50.
Oh, so I'm done.
Your 50 cents is your tip. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're done at that point.
Yeah.
That's where it gets tricky. I don't think you can.
The Georgia pecan caramel popcorn tipped my interest a little bit.
All right, as somebody that's been here, you do not walk off the grounds without getting the Georgia Peach ice cream sandwich.
I'm not a peach guy, so
I'm telling you, it's the best thing on the menu. So for me, also 3 domestic light beers, which I think are Miller Lights, based on my experience. By the way,
probably
they don't have brands there. They're all like they're
Yeah, it's like
generically labeled. So that's my $15 right off the bat. I'm going to get a pimento cheese because I have to, although I will tell you all of the sandwiches are pretty good. Like the barbecue is good. The Masters Club is good. A lot of people like rave about the chicken sandwich. I was kind of
I've heard the chicken sandwich mixed with the pimento cheese.
Yeah, it could be
Top-notch.
fire. So here's where the problem comes in. I have to get the Georgia Peach ice cream sandwich, which hampers how much actual real food I can get, right? So that's why I'm only picking the pimento cheese, getting the 3 beers, and then dessert is the ice cream sandwich.
That's fair enough. I'm
20 is tough.
I'm not a huge dessert guy, especially when I'm like walking around.
Me either.
if I was gonna splurge on something, it wouldn't be like the ice cream sandwich. Like if I had to trade in a sandwich for like some kind of sweet, so maybe get like a little sugar kick, it'd probably be that caramel popcorn, the pecan popcorn.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
But I think 3 beers goes without saying. I might be tempted into changing that to 2 if I get there and I'm like, maybe we had a night before, maybe a little hungover, and I need a little bit of coffee. That might change some things. If I need a breakfast sandwich, that might change something. Like that might knock it down to 2 beers. But I think I'm going to try to tough it out, get my 3 beers and my 3 sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Because I hammer sandwiches at the memorial every year.
These are, trust me, like when we win, I mean, I can't even tell you how many. I don't know if I had more beers or sandwiches, to be honest with you. I was just like trying everything.
I mean, I feel like if you're going to go, like you really got to run down the menu.
Well,
like
plus,
maybe not the breakfast items, because I'm not like a big breakfast person. I might do like the chicken biscuit just because, but like I'm trying every lunch sandwich. There's zero chance of me not trying every lunch sandwich.
Yeah, and it's really, I mean, you're walking so much. It's super hilly. Like
you're burning those calories regardless.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm definitely taking my 3 beers, heading over to 16 Hillside.
Hell yeah.
And watching.
It's truly amazing that you don't hear more stories about people being like just absolutely shit-faced.
I think you just
because it's so cheap.
You get on the grounds and there's just like a level of decorum you just like assimilate to.
Yeah. Yeah, I can feel that.
You just know you're not supposed to be on that shithead behavior.
Yeah, and 2, you know, the last thing you want to do in your first Masters experience, or you have yearly tickets, is the last thing you want to do is get your ticket revoked.
Exactly.
Would be a true low point for anybody, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It's like, hey, you want to go to the Masters this year? Yeah, I'm actually not allowed back. Like that would be a bad way to go.
Yes, correct.
But I was like looking at the alcohol prices. I'm like, God, I'm sure they have a couple people that get after it, and it's like, hey, you know, chill out or you're gone. And I'm sure they kick some people out too.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, if you're like,
you just don't hear about it because there's no cell phones on property, so you don't get the videos. Like we got the videos from
Waste Management.
Yeah, Waste Management. Like you're not going to get those because you don't have a cell phone on you. So
yeah, that's a good point. It could maybe it's just Augusta just keeping everything hush. The PR.
True too. It might be
kick those people out and just go.
Yeah,
we're not going to report on it.
It's a fair point too.
Yeah. All right, we got a Masters preview pod officially recorded.
Officially.
Hopefully, when we turn this off, it'll all be good, and it can be published.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything until it is uploaded.
Until it's officially published for everyone to hear. Yeah, I'm with you. Man, everybody enjoy Masters Week. Truly the best week of the year. We'll have our Instagram and stuff will be popping all week.
Good.
So hit us up, follow us, please subscribe, rate, and review. All that stuff. It's going to be a glorious, glorious 2024 Masters.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.